Hi there, my name is Kenneth and I'm the Lone Dice Guy. Thank you so much for tuning in to my solo 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons adventure as Ming, a monk of the Order of the Dragon, Lion's Bane. When we last left off on our adventure, Ming and company have finally arrived at Dyp Jord after having to escape from a charging giant cursed elk, which we found out was kind of like the guardian deity spirit thing of this area of the mountain. So it's kind of all we really found out, but the Ming and company don't really know that yet. So it's some kind of something's cursed it, and we'll come up with that later, I'm sure. I've added that to our thread list. So it's something that for us to keep looking into. Now, that said, we've arrived at Dyp Jord. It's the start of a new scene. Finally, what was supposed to happen last scene is happening now. Our characters are going to get a chance to talk. And so, but before we do that, of course, we have to roll on our chaos. Now, I think it went up. I think after the chase of the elk, it's gone up. We're now back at 6. So, got to roll a 7 or higher for having a normal scene. 6 or lower, it's interrupted or altered in some way. 10. Okay, so normal, just exactly what we thought would happen. So in this case, what we think will happen is Ming and company finally arrive at Dyp Jord. They're inside. The gate is closed behind them. They finally have a chance to talk. And that's exactly what we're going to get to do today. All right. So there, as the carts come into the darkness, not really darkness, but into the out of the sun of the surface world, immediately Ming and the others are met by almost like a supernatural warmth. It's what you expect underground to be cold. But here it's warm, and not like it's right next to a fire, but definitely as if they're in a room with a hearth. In fact, that's one of the first things Ming notices is that there are hearths and fires everywhere. Right? This is but there's not a single plume of smoke to be seen. So there's some magic trickery going on here. And so as they're going along this main road into the city, underground still. They notice that occasionally there'll be like a stable area or like an inn or something on the side cut into the mountain. All the buildings are just holes cut into the walls. But eventually they do come to a stable area, and Modig kind of turns to his uncle and says, "Uncle, put your horses here and your carts here, and they'll be fine. They'll be safe. This belongs to the merchant militia. It'll be under my protection while you're here. Is that okay?" Of course. And so they put up the carts, saddle, unbridle they do all the stuff they have to do, right? Unbridle the horses, put them into stables, give them feed and a chance to rest. They've earned it just as much as anyone else. At this point, I think the merchants are going by and thanking Ming and Korban and Rahav, and thanking even of course Modig as well, just congratulating him on the victory in the battle. But yeah, they're thanking them profusely. Thank you so much for getting us here. Thank you. And Korban and Rahav are being humble about it. Ming is just like, no problem. No, he's very happy. He's not humble about it at all. He's like, yeah, sure, no problem. He's accepting the thanks, maybe a little too much. Anyway. Finally, at that point, Korban and Rahav come up to Ming. "Well, we have made it to our destination. It was an honor to serve alongside you, Ming Zhao." "It was an honor to fight with you. It's a shame we must part ways so soon." That was Rahav. "Well, why do you have to leave? Surely, at least stay a night with us and have dinner and let's talk and rest. You've earned it just as much as I have. Really, I really do want to thank you. But I don't think I could have handled it on my own. As much as I don't want to admit it, I truly needed your help. And you, in that last battle, you were both wonderful. I don't want you to go yet." "I would love to." And Korban looks at his wife and she shakes her head slightly like this. "But we have to continue on our business. We came here to Dyp Jord for a reason. And it's time we fulfill that reason." "What reason?" "It is not for you to know right now. And you have a bit too many threads to figure out for yourself, Ming. Come find us in the temple. We will be there for several months. but it has been a true wonder serving alongside you, Lionsbane. And then at that point, Ming does this customary, and Korban mirrors it, and even Rahav does it. And as they're walking off, Ming kind of calls off, Korban! And he turns around. I never said thank you for the name. Rahav, thank you. And Rahav kind of slowly bows her head and then points up to the sky as if to say, thanks, Sarenrae. And Ming, again, does the salute, and they walk off. So they're going to be in the temple. They're always there for Ming to go. They're there for Ming to go check out later. But really, we have enough threads. We'll worry about why they're here later. All right. So he's waving goodbye to see them off. At that point, Karvak comes up behind him. Huh. Guess they got their money and left, huh? Karvak, I think they're very busy. That's all. Huh. Well, did you manage to say thank you for them to help you? Yes, I did. I did thank them. Good. You should visit them. Make an ally of him. Good man. Good woman, too. Yes. I'm exhausted, Karvak. Can we please go rest? Of course. Modug's offered to let us stay at his place. He has a place? Of course. This is our home, my boy. Welcome to the Dwarven capital, Ming. So as they're walking along, Ming it just kind of hits Ming all at once. He's here. He's always loved Dwarven culture. He loved learning Dwarven in the monastery. He loved talking to Korvak. He loved talking to Karvak and other Dwarven traders. This is where he's always wanted to come here, right? So he's like a kid in a candy shop, getting to see everything, looking around. He's met by a spectacle. And as they're walking down the main kind of large tunnel, he sees a light at the end of the tunnel. He sees a warm light pulsing into the tunnel. And at first, he's kind of trepidatious. It looks like a giant fire. But as it gets closer, he realizes that the tunnel's opening up into a large, large cavern. And so inside the cavern, whenever they walk in, a golden light bakes the entire cavern. Ming can't tell where the light is coming from. When he lifts his feet, it's as if there's no shadow underneath. It's as if this magical light fills the entire cavern. And there's a warmth here. Again, remember I said Ming expected underground to be cold, but this place is full of warmth and life. There are dwarves everywhere. But Ming notices something. There's not that many dwarves. He was expecting a bustling major city, and it's surely large enough to have this large cavern is surely big enough to have a huge dwarven population, but it's not. There's maybe in a space that could probably hold anywhere from 500 to maybe 800,000 souls. It looks like there's barely even 200,000 present. Most of the city looks uninhabited. So Ming goes to a guardrail nearby and looks out over in this cavern, and he sees it's like a large silo. Imagine like a large silo going all several thousand feet down, and it's maybe at least 400 or 500 yards across as a diameter. So it's a huge cylinder. And this warm light basks all throughout it. But again, about the lower half of the cylinder looks dark. Looks like nobody's living there. The warm light baking it, yes, but there's no lights in houses. There's no people walking along the rails. Like it looks like no one even goes down there. This place is only half occupied. And so Ming makes a mental note of that to ask later. And so as he's looking around, he hears Karvak call, Ming, over here! And he turns around and he kind of runs off again. It's like a candy story. He wants to look around. And so Ming sees that. He sees blacksmiths, gem cutters. He sees people working with fabrics and other textiles over here, goldsmiths, silversmiths. He comes across several different people making different baking goods of different kinds, armorers, every trade imaginable he sees. He always knew the dwarves were good merchants and textile workers, but to see it up close, he's just enamored by it. He's actually impressed. He's always been impressed by their industriousness as a people. And then so he notices that the curving outside path that they're walking on, remember it's a cylinder, so the path they're walking on starts to slowly curve down. And so he notices they're going down to a lower level. No big deal. So about 3 levels down, after walking around several times, so Modig, who's, by the way, still, he's got a cloak around him, one of Karvok's spare cloaks, but he can definitely still hurt. He's not doing well. He's not doing well. Finally, it turns left into kind of a side cut passageway, and immediately Ming is met by the fact that this feels like home. He can tell Karvok relaxes and just physically relaxes whenever they get. Even Modig, who was walking with purpose before, slows his walk. So they've essentially entered into the Soldat family compound. Okay, so let's figure some stuff out about the Soldat family. So here's what I'm going to do. Roll a d12. The higher the number, the more, the higher in birth they are, right? So let's say I roll like a 5, they're just average person. Roll a 1, they're paupers. they're nobody. 12, basically like dwarven nobility almost. So let's see what we got. A 6. Okay, so they're square in the middle. That makes sense. Karvok's a merchant and so Modig's a soldier. That makes perfect sense. They're not nobility, but they're also not like, nobody. They're just an average dwarven family. Okay. So then now the question is, are they well known? Are they famous, well known? For this, I'm going to roll a d4. 4 being they're extremely well known, well respected as well. 1 being the opposite end, well known but infamous. Like maybe they've done something wrong. I don't know. So let's see. So 4 is infamous. 4 is famous. 3 is just average. 2 is average. 1 is infamous. There we go. 1. Oh, okay. They're infamous for something. So this family, the Soldat family, is infamous. And that kind of plays into what the sergeant said last, right? He's like, you know what you did, right? Oh, crud. Now I want to know what he did. But we'll get to that in a second. So, all right. So as Ming's walking and he notices that there's nothing fancy, right? This is a normal dwarven family compound. There's rooms cut into the sides of the rock with pewter doors that have been stone almost shaped into the side of the mountain where they can open and close. You've got very conservative paintings and runes cut into the sides of the walls, depicting dwarven history and maybe even family history as well. In fact, I really like this. I never did this before. I'm gonna make it canon now. To get into the main compound right before then, Ming notices that the door has been opened already, and on it is carved into the pewter a history of the Soldat family. Like he can read the dwarven runes really quick. And I think that's cool. I think every family, as well as every kingdom, is going to have their history carved into the first thing you see for that. So in this case, the gates to Dyp Jord, the history of Dyp Jord and the dwarven people was carved into it. And just like this, the history of the Soldat family will also be carved into the pewter door going into their home. I think that's really cool. I like that. I'm going to go with that. So Ming wants to stop and read, but doesn't have time. He keeps going. Eventually, they get into kind of a main central courtyard area, and several dwarves run down some set of stairs, and they swarm Karvok and Modig, and their Modig shows his injuries, and of course they whisk him away to get healed, and of course everybody's asking Karvok, where have you been? What's going on? All in Dwarvish, of course. Ming is politely sitting there, and eventually Karvok says in Dwarvish. He makes sure to say in Dwarvish so the others get that he can understand him. Ming, come in. There's guest rooms up on the second floor over there. Just pick one, put your stuff in, make yourself at home. And Ming also likewise replies in Dwarvish, thank you, my friend. I'll go do that now. And of course, everybody's like, oh, he can speak our language. I've had that experience before, okay? I've had the experience of walking into a room and speaking the native language, and they go, oh, like I've seen it in Taiwan and Asia where I used to live. So, all right. Anyway, just personal experience there. So Ming walks up to the second floor, finds one of the guest rooms, and just puts his pack down, sits on kind of the chair next to a chair next to the bed at a desk area, and he kind of just slumps into the chair. And I think at that moment, all the tiredness just kind of hits him, right? He's been so excited, so happy to be here, to finally finish this journey. And he realizes, oh my God, like I'm hurt. Like he's got bruises and cuts and stuff all over. Like he's just, oh. And I think he's actually going to fall asleep. I'm not going to roll for that. I'm just going to fall asleep. His next thing is going to wake up to a tap. He's going to look around. And there is a dwarven child. Let's say dwarven child. And this dwarven child points to the door and says, "Your bath is ready." And he's like, "Oh, okay, thank you. And so Ming grabs his stuff, clean clothes, follows him to kind of a bathing area and cleans himself off. And he notices while he's in the bath that the water is almost making his wounds feel better. He can feel like certain wounds closing up, not like magically, but he just feels the cleansing power of the bath water. That must be some kind of spring water that's good for healing and minerals and things like that. Finally, he gets out, dries himself off, gets dressed in fresh robes, hands his traveling clothes to the child, who takes them off to be cleaned as well. Ming's getting treated like a guest. Finally, Ming he's directed to a dinner area, like a dining area, where Karvok and Modig are already sitting down eating a meal with a couple other dwarves and a couple of the merchant militia people as well. So Ming immediately recognizes one of them as Modig's lieutenant, as well as another soldier he doesn't recognize. And then he sits down next to Karvok in front of Modig. And they start eating, and now they're going to start talking. So, Ming, it's good to... This is Karvok. Ming, it's good to see that you're doing better. Ming is at this point also tearing into the food. Yeah, I'm doing much better. After a bath, I feel much better, but I'm still exhausted. Well, boy, thank you for getting us here. I'm glad I could help. But Modig takes another jug of ale. Modig, we're about to talk to me about what's happening with the merchant militias. That's the second time I've seen you in conflict with them, right? What's going on? And at this point, his lieutenant and this other soldier next to him, they kind of tense up a little bit. But there's definitely a twitch in the shoulder. They realize, this is going to be tough. What is the nature of the conflict in the merchant militia? It's finally time to solve this mystery. So I'm going to go to our chart, our action in subject chart. I'm going to roll 4 words. Let's figure this out. So here we go. 78, cruelty. 7, allies. Okay. And 2 more. 73, propose. 58, stalemate. All right, we have cruelty, allies, propose, and stalemate. All right. So in this world, the merchant militia is exactly that. It's a militia made up of members of the merchant class. Right? It's not. There's no nobility in it. It's not. It's basically just middle class people that banded together to protect their interests, protect merchants along the road, to protect the different cities and stuff in the mountain areas. This is straight up a volunteer militia, but that is paid for. The local lords and local areas pay them because they benefit from their services as well. And so a lot of private security, but that's also public backed. Does that make sense? So they are a private public. They're privateers. That's what I'm trying to get at. They're privateers. And so cruelty against allies and propose and a stalemate. Here's what I think is happening. I think that the local lords have begun to treat. No, reverse that. I think that some of the more hard-lining members of the merchant militia want to completely cut ties with nobility, right? They don't want to do jobs for the local lords. They don't want to protect them. They just want to let them burn. But then you have another group saying, no, like we need to protect them too. They're just as worthy of protection, and they pay our bills as well. So we should do business with anyone that's willing to come to us. And so the cruelty against allies, I think that the group that is against the nobility views the merchant militia working with them as some kind of like oppressive relationship. That there's something wrong here, right? And the other group, there's no, it's perfectly equal relationship. Money's involved, right? So whatever. We're not being forced. But a proposed stalemate, I think that I gotcha. So I think that in the sometime in the recent past, Modig and that's a good question. Is Modig and his captain? He's now captain now. So his like general, or what's above captain? Major. There we go. Is Captain Soldat Modig and his now Major Ivan Sano, are they at odds? Are they at odds on different sides of this like divide? I don't. Wait. First question, are they at odds? And second, does Modig know they're at odds? So first one, are they at odds at all? I'm going to go 50-50. I don't know. Chaos rank is 6. So that is we got a 96. That's not a doubles. Never mind. I got really excited for a second. 96. That is a no. They're not on opposite sides of this. So they're in full agreement. Yeah, they're in full agreement with what's going on here. They're not going to be, on opposite sides of this conflict. They are on the same side. All right. So if they're on the same side, of course they know that. So I think that Major Sano maybe suggested a stalemate or an agreement or some kind of ceasefire, if you will, on the two sides. Maybe propose kind of like a third way, whatever that third way is. I don't know. What would it entail, and how would it be different? Cruelty of allies, proposed stalemate. 16. Inquire. And 74. Liberty. Inquire liberty. Oh, okay, I got it. So Modig and his leader, his major, Major Sano, Ivan Sano, I think that they kind of had a joint proposal, the Inquire Liberty, right, to let each individual merchant militia group decide who they serve. Instead of kind of doing it as a top-down, you're going to do this kind of militaristic strategy, to move to more towards kind of like a free company kind of thing, where you get to choose your clients, essentially. Where each company inside of the militia, the entire militia, instead of it being more militaristic, it's going to shift gears to more of an adventuring guild kind of thing, where you choose the people you want to serve. So those who don't want to serve nobility don't have to serve nobility, and those who don't care. They'll go for the highest bidder. So I think that's what they proposed. But still, again, those on the hardline side of it that just hate the nobility and want them wiped out, they don't want to deal with this. They would much rather just be like, no, we're never going to serve nobility. I think that there's definitely almost kind of like a push and pull of more of the hatred of nobility versus just don't care. All right, and that's what Inquire Liberty. So I think Modig and his major Ivan Sano, they're on the side of let people have the freedom to choose. Don't let the companies choose who they want to go after and who they want to serve. So all right, I like that a lot. So this is an idealistic fight. And it's coming and I think the side that's on the side of hatred and nobility views that if you don't hate the nobility, you must be on their side, or you must be in favor for the rich, or whatever. Not to get too political, but still, I think I understand the nature of this conflict more. This is two extreme ideologies fighting against each other, and it's kind of coming to a head now. Okay, interesting, very interesting. So, as Ming asked that question, why are you fighting? I think Modig's going to put his drink down. Okay, let me tell you why. You deserve to know. Like you said, right, you've seen twice now where people of my own organization have turned their blades against one another. Yeah, it's been scary. I'm not going to lie, Modig. I know. About 6 months ago, so a little bit before I met you, the merchant militia has always, historically, served the middle class and anyone who would pay to help us. And when we did that, it worked out fine. Nobody complained. And to put it into perspective, sometimes we would serve lords and local nobility as well. Karbach pipes up. That's right, because I remember. And whenever my nephew here first joined the merchant militia, one of his first jobs was to escort a local lord's son out of the mountains and to the basin east of us. Is that right? Yes, that was right. And it was a difficult task, but we got it done. He's being modest. Uncle, please. Sorry. And he goes back to his drink. And one of the things that I have always thought was, I don't care who I serve as long as they pay, and as long as my comrades are strong, I don't care. I really just don't. Remember, one of the things that we rolled for his personality is he's not mean, but he's very he's kind of mean, objective. He's kind of a jerk. He just doesn't care. So, a group of hardlining, anti-nobility, merchant militiamen has risen up, and it's causing all kinds of problems. Ming's eyes open. So they hate the nobility? Like, why? They think that the nobility have taken from them, and that they have... I don't know. It's a very good question, to be honest. But the thing that you have to understand is that this hardlining group just will not let go. They won't live and let live. They want either all of us to reject nobility and fight, or, well, they don't give another option. It's their way or get out. That sounds horrible. Yes. Well, until about, like I said, about 6 months ago, my major, then my captain, suggested a third way, a middle of the ground reform to help individual companies within the merchant militia decide for themselves. That sounds wonderful. Why would anyone oppose that? Again, these are hardline extremists, not exactly known for their critical thinking skills. Fair? Ming's acting like he understands, but he's not that smart. He's not very politically minded. And so, when me and my captain suggested that, it put a target on our backs. Many soldiers have left our company. Many have joined, but many have left. And to be perfectly honest with you, we're getting afraid that we can maintain our company size much longer. We might have to disband if things get worse. So, they're attacking you for having a different political ideology than theirs? Yes. That's what it comes down to. I'm very sorry you had to get caught up in our own political squabbles and troubles. It's fine. It's fine. I think I understand. I do. At this point, Karbach steps in. Are you going to talk about politics all night? Ming, short answer. Bunch of people don't like nobility, and my nephew here is on the side that says, who cares? End of story. Ugh. At that point, Karbach and everybody, at that point, the table erupts in laughter, including Ming and Modig. It's over. Part of the conversation's over. Interesting. So I think, yeah, that's interesting. Well, anyway, while they're talking about small stuff and continuing to eat, Ming looks over at the soldier he hasn't met yet, and he goes, Modig, he doesn't even talk to Modig. He just turns to the soldier. I'm sorry, I've met the lieutenant here, but I haven't met you. What's your name? Who knows? But this is the soldier that I told you was getting a name. The one that fought off like 3 people. Like I think someone commented he unredshirted himself. Yes, he did. So let's find out his name. That's a very good question. So here's what I'm going to do. I don't know what kind of like ethnicity he is. So I'm going to say 1 is, I'm going to roll D6. 1 is like standard, fantasy, Central European. And then 6 will be like Arabic, like Middle Eastern, right? And then 3, and maybe like a 3 will be more of along like Spaniard or something like that. So, and these are based on the accents that I can do. So, all right, here we go. 2. So maybe a little, not quite like British, but more standard European. Okay, what's his name? Oh, yeah, let's give him a Celtic name. I like that. Let's give him a Celtic name. So, 50. His name is Donaghy. Donaghy. That's an interesting name. What's his first name? $29. Bryant. Bryant Donaghy. So he's going to have an accent kind of like this. Not quite British, but, a little bit something in between. All right. So Ming turns to him. I don't think I've met you before. You are Corporal Bryant Donaghy at your service. And nice to meet you. I've heard a lot about you from the captain. At that point, the lieutenant kind of nudges him. You're no longer Corporal Donaghy. Sergeant Donaghy. Oh, yeah, that's right. Forgive me. Sergeant Bryant Donaghy at your service. Nice to meet you, Ming Zhao, right? Yes. Thank you for remembering my name. It is nice to meet you. I caught a glimpse of you fighting. You're quite skilled with the blade. Thank you. I appreciate it. Captain seems to think so. You're more than good with the blade, Donaghy. This is someone that I recognized as his strength, Ming Zhao. You would do well to consider him an ally. Good. Maybe we can spar later, Donaghy. His eyes light up. I would love nothing more than that, sir. I'd love nothing more than that. Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to do that. Please, whenever you're ready. Clearly, I think I'm kind of getting an image of like he loves the fight, right? Let's kind of figure out his character more. 92, vengeance. So he's on a quest for vengeance. Okay, that's cool. Man, why are all my characters outside that are not Ming cooler than Ming? This isn't fun. All right, 42, competition. Oh, sorry. Yeah, competition. So vengeance and competition. Vengeance. Okay, that makes total sense. So he loves competing. He loves sparring and fighting against other people. He loves that's why he joined the Merchant Militia in the first place. Was it gave him a chance to compete and put himself out there. Okay, that's cool. And vengeance. He's on a quest for vengeance. Ooh, this character's cool. So Bryant Donaghy. Okay, so they're talking some more, and I think that's kind of like as the dinner winds down, people start getting more and more tired, and that's your thing. That's where that kind of scene ends. So yeah. All right, so that's awesome. We know a little bit more about what's happening in the Merchant Militia. There's a political turmoil between kind of the non-nobility party and the who cares party. We've met our corporal that is now a sergeant, and his name is Bryant Donaghy. So Sergeant Bryant Donaghy, and we know that he's on a quest for vengeance and he likes competition. So very cool. Okay, we've got a little bit more of our world fleshed out, and I'm excited to see what happens next. So with that said, I think I'm going to end the scene, end the session there. Ming's going to go off to bed. Everyone's going to go to bed because they're tired as all get out. And so, yeah, that's going to be a good place to end this for now. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching. Of course, as always, do all the dumb YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, follow, please tell people about this channel. Again, I know I'm not the funnest thing out there, but I'm enjoying this. I hope you are too. I'm enjoying the snot out of this. I've really enjoyed starting to get to know our characters and our world a bit more. And on top of that, and this is cool, getting to tell a story that I didn't know beforehand. So this is a lot of fun. All right. With that said, we'll continue with Ming's little adventure next time. And we will I hope you'll follow me along then. So with all that said, I'm Kenneth. I'm the Lone Dice Guy. Thank you so much for watching.
Are all the preparations completed?
Yes, my lord. Everything.
Good. Tell our agents to be ready for my command.
I will do that. Everything has been prepared in advance. The stone has been found. All we need to do is complete the ritual.
Good. What of the girl?
She is ready and in position.
Remind her not to mess it up this time.
I will do that, sir. My lord.
Good. Why do I sense something is coming? Something unforeseen.
You worry too much, my lord. We are ready this time. Nobody will stop us.
I hope you're right. Tell everyone we move out in the morning. Activate all of our agents. This time we will not fail.
Of course.
Be gone with you.